Dawson just fakes it out, leaves it for the man, the magician, the superstar. It's the signature shot!
And it's almost there. Justin keeps it alive. Taylor wasn't there. Bounces into the corner. Energy still around. Justin is there for the shot. Justin! This is Rocket League!
Our favorite game, as we know, is slowly going to morph into something unrecognizable faster than we think. Rocket League is one of the greatest games to ever be created. Well, in my opinion, it has been the game that no one has been able to recreate since its release in 2015. And it stands strong to this day. Well, maybe not strong, but it's still standing. Okay, well, it's at least still... Okay, that's debatable, but the point is it has left a mark on the gaming community and the pro gaming community that cannot be ignored. The problem we are all facing, though, is Epic Games is in control, and they have no intention on letting the game excel. And instead, they may have plans to maybe not kill it, but turn it into a small mini-game. How does a game go from so successful with continued growth all of a sudden to face its potential end? We need to go back to figure out how we got here. In the year 2000, Psyonix was created by Dave Hagewood. They had two projects that failed miserably. One was called Proteus, a vehicle combat game. Though quickly they realized they were unhappy with the game's engine and abandoned it, and then they started to make a company shift to a whole new engine. That was Unreal Engine. If you don't already know, Unreal Engine was a game engine that led the development of Unreal Tournament 2003, which all was developed by, you guessed it, Epic Games. I remember playing this as a kid, and I remember yelling, "This game sucks!" and "Wow, look at the water!" Or maybe I'm thinking of Unreal Tournament 3, I don't know. It was one of those. But Psyonix, using Unreal Engine, created a game called Vampire Hunter: The Dark Prophecy. It was a strange game with first-person exploration, but then would switch to third-person combat. Yeah, you don't know about either of those games because they were both scrapped pretty quick. Although they did experiment with the idea of adding vehicles to Vampire Hunter, and when they started playing with that idea, they ended up coming up with something completely different. Good thing, because who wants to drive around in cars as a vampire, or hunting them, or whatever they were going for? What I didn't mention was they were making this vampire game for Epic Games, because they were using their game engine. This is the start of the relationship between Psyonix and Epic. So when Epic Games called to check in on this vampire game, they told them that they had decided to shelf the game, but they had been working on something else, and that was the true beginning of Psyonix doing what they do best. Cars! Ka-chow! No? Okay. Well, you know, vehicles in games is what I'm really getting at. They created something called GAMEMODE, which they showcased to Epic Games, and it led to Psyonix being signed on as a developer for Unreal Tournament 2004, which led them to creating a game mode called Onslaught. It was inspired from Psyonix. From that point on, Psyonix continued doing contract work for Epic Games to stay afloat until 2006. During that time, they worked on popular titles like Gears of War and Unreal Tournament 3. The Psyonix team's favorite games to play that they gained most of their inspiration from was Tony Hawk and SSX. This inspired them to create a game called Track Addict. They pitched this game to several publishers and ultimately landed a deal with Microsoft to develop and release the game. It was going to be a vehicle platform game that had time trial stages like SSX and was set to release on Xbox as an exclusive game. During the development of this game, someone decided to put a soccer ball in the middle of the level, and quickly they realized that they had discovered something much bigger than they were already working on. They loved this idea so much that they decided to completely change direction, and that led them to parting ways with Microsoft. Now it's 2008. We have finally arrived at Yeah, that's the name of their game. Now it's 2008, and we have finally arrived at super acrobatic rocket-powered battle cars. Woo! We got through it, boys. Released on PlayStation 3, the game bombed. No, like seriously, nobody liked it. It felt clunky. It was unpolished. They were about 80% there, but nothing quite hit like it should. It didn't bring not 1 cent of profit. It perfectly broke even, which I guess from a game studio standpoint that could be worse, but nobody wants to break even. They're making games that make profit here. From that point forward, they did lots of contract work on some major titles and some small titles to keep going. Some examples is they worked on Mass Effect 3, Homefront, XCOM Enemy Unknown, and even released a mobile shooter for ISO. Finally, after doing all this contract work from 2009 to 2013, it was enough for them to finally develop Rocket League, our beloved, most loved car soccer game. With a budget under $2 million, they worked on the game for 2 years and released the game in July of 2015. They put that extra 20% of polish on this game, and it was a masterpiece. It was selling faster than they ever could imagine, and within a month of launch, the game sold over 1 million copies on Steam alone. Rocket League from this point on had continued success. It was unlike anything anyone had experienced, and the competitive nature of it was fantastic. The skill ceiling was higher in this game than anyone actually thought, and Psyonix contributed to making that skill ceiling even higher by adding a mechanic to be able to reset your flip by landing all 4 tires on a surface, including the ball. This was added in on February 2016 in a basic patch that was unintentional with some map updates. They didn't even realize what they had done, but that later contributed to a core mechanic of the game today called the flip reset. This has allowed for lots of growth and amazing moments that has happened throughout Rocket League's history. Soon after launch of the game, some players were excelling above all other, and they put together the Rocket League Championship Series to showcase the best players in the world. Different abilities and mechanics were being discovered daily, and even to this day, we have new things that pop up that no one has even seen. For several years, Psyonix continued to update the game, coming out with different DLC content, with the beloved Batmobile. At the time, each DLC was priced at $2.99. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. No shot it was that cheap for a DLC car. Oh, but it was. They also came out with new game modes like Snow Day for Christmas in 2015. This was received well as a rotator mode, so they then brought in private matches and mutator settings in February of 2016. This allowed players to play Snow Day when they wanted to at any time. In April of that year, Hoops was added, and then Rumble was added in September. They were adding content faster than the player could keep up with, also while making sure the game's quality of life was better with each update. As a means to monetize the game further, Psyonix in September 2016 also added a loot box system that allowed players to get loot boxes randomly just from playing, and they could buy keys to unlock these boxes. Very similar to what you see in Counter-Strike today. With the addition of loot boxes, they also added player-to-player trading, which then formed a whole new ecosystem of players that was only in it for the aesthetics and items. There are websites that were made exclusively for trading and keeping up with what the items are worth to players and their rarity. It was truly amazing the amount of content and changes they were making to the game. In September 2016 alone, they added Rumble, loot boxes, and trading. All 3 of those things in 1 month. Rocket League at this time was thriving. Content creators were starting to blow up either from being a part of the pro community or the trading community. There was creators like John Sandman that made the trading community popular and even created mini games that had lots of popularity like blind trading. Then the pro scene had Lethemir, Rizzo, and Sizz, which were extremely talented players that were gaining popularity off of that. There was something for everyone to enjoy. Shortly after, in March of 2017, Dropshot was added, which was their 4th extra game mode, added aside from the standard 4 game modes we already had. By July 2017, the esports scene had doubled, maybe even tripled in popularity, and was held on ESPN3 for the first time. That's right, ESPN, dude. Like, we're making it. And in 2018, the game was nominated for Esports Game of the Year at several different awards shows. November of 2018 also saw a new addition copying some of the biggest games at the time. Rocket League had made their very own battle pass that they called the Rocket Pass. And in April 2019, they gave us challenges that would help us progress through the Rocket Pass. This is just a small hint at the direction that the game was going, and it was allowing it to adapt easier to a future entity. Rocket League slowly had been turning into something that Epic Games, Psyonix's old friends, could be interested in. A battle pass and challenges being part of the game was the perfect combo for the two companies to merge. Only thing that they were missing pretty much was an item shop. And quickly after that, on May 1st, 2019, Epic Games acquired Psyonix. Epic's very first move was in December of 2019. Rocket League is removing loot boxes and replacing them with blueprints, and changing the in-game currency to credits instead of keys. They also added the beloved item shop. So there it is, we've got it. Oh yes, the Epic Games holy trifecta. The prices for everything in the shop was outrageous, and revealing blueprints was also crazy expensive. The community complained about it, forcing them to lower the prices a little bit, but to this day, the shop and blueprints are way overpriced for every item. This also happened at the same time that Fortnite started to struggle. Their numbers were dropping fast. They were in their current Season 8 of Fortnite, and due to this, a lot of the old Rocket League player base believed this could be the death of Rocket League. We weren't sure, but signs pointed to it not being a good thing. This, in my opinion, marks the day that Rocket League started its downfall. In September of 2020, the ownership of Rocket League was given fully to Epic Games, and the game officially went free to play. Although the community was sad about the loot crates, this seems to be a great change, because Psyonix now had plenty of resources to improve the game even further, and the player base exploded with more players than the game had ever seen. The game also received full platform progression, tournaments, more challenges, and other features. All seems to be great changes, and even though they didn't see it coming, the new relationship with Epic appeared to be a great thing. When I say the player base exploded, I mean it really did. Existing content creators were blowing up, as well as new content creators were trying the game out themselves. Millions of players were getting to try the game, and it did gain some lifetime new players. And I must say, when all that was going on, it really was a great thing. I had friends that came over to the game for the very first time. They never wanted to try it until it went free to play, and now they play it on a regular basis because the game will just hook you. That's how good the core game is. Now, remember how I said the removal of loot boxes, etc. was the start of the downfall, in my opinion? That's because as much praise as I've been giving the game just now, it kind of ends here. The game went free to play in September 2020, and if you notice before, I was mentioning new playable content and quality of life changes happening every few months, giving the players something to look forward to and see the game evolve throughout each year. When the game went free to play though, they restarted the seasons and started back at Season 1 again. And that's fine. We were at like Season 14 before that. And then they added a new rank. They added SSL rank. After that, we kept getting new seasons after a few months. And in April 2022, they came out with a new game mode called Knockout. It was super unique, and the player base was so excited because of how cool it was. It was the first new thing that Rocket League had done in 2 years. But it was on rotation, and we only got it for 2 weeks, and we've only seen it one other time since then. Yeah, we're at the end of 2023. We've played the game mode twice. Now, you might be seeing the difference here. I just skipped 2 years to talk about a new game mode that we only got for 2 weeks. So here we are in December 2023, and guess what? I covered all the new things. That's it. This is everything new that they've added for the player base to be excited about since free to play. Oh wait, I did forget one thing. I forgot to mention the DLC paid content that we got. What was I thinking? How could I forget? Rocket League, before Epic Games signed on, from 2015 to 2019 had came out with 20 new unique DLC cars / content. It was cars with decals or wheels that came with the cars that you could optionally purchase. That's 20 DLC cars in about 5 years. That was about 4 per year. It wasn't consistent, but maybe like 1 per season, but our seasons weren't always the same amount of time. It was a cool, fun thing that we could get if we wanted. It was also the ability for Psyonix to make a little bit of extra money. Each was $3, no big deal. It was awesome that they had that in the game as well, because we were getting lots of changes in addition to that. After the game went free to play in September 2020, so keep in mind, 2020 was over halfway done already, because we were in September, we have gotten a total of 40 DLCs. Yes, 40 different cars that we can purchase to drive around in for 20 minutes until we swap back to the Octane or Fennec. 40 promotions and 1 game mode for 2 weeks. We got all that in 2.5 years. The game has started to feel just like one big advertisement, and the priorities have not felt in line. RLCS has been flourishing, though, because of the competitive nature of the game. The pro scene has never been more exciting to watch, but that is all the game has improved on. We have received ads, DLCs for anything from NFL, F1, NASCAR, and any popular movie you can think of that might have had a car in it. We even got ads for, DLCs for just new cars coming out. I mean, what a joke. So slowly, all the new players have lost interest because the game has nothing to offer other than buy this and buy that and come to our item shop and buy some of this stuff, man, and hoo-hoo. So what has kept this game alive to this point, if that's the case? If all the game is offered is one game mode to all these new players that came around, what's keeping the game interesting? In this day and age, there's no way a game would survive only adding in buyable content that doesn't add anything to the game, I might add. It's just an aesthetic and never improving. Well, the fact that they haven't changed the gameplay is what held it together. This game is competitive and always has more to offer because there is always going to be someone better than you and someone that can show you there's something to improve on. But that is only if you are a comp player. If you're a casual player, it has been much, much harder. Workshop maps are only accessible to Steam players pretty much. Epic players on PC can get there, but it's kind of difficult, so a lot of times they just avoid it anyway. And if the casual player isn't into trading, then there's really not much for the casual player to stay interested in. But what's really done it is the entire community has had hope for almost the whole time after free-to-play for one reason. Remember how we talked about Psyonix working on all these engines, and that's how their relationship started with Epic? It's all starting to come together why Rocket League went to Epic so easily. Rocket League was built on Unreal Engine 3, which by 2020 was an old system already because Unreal Engine 4 had been out for some time already. In May of 2020, Unreal Engine 5 was revealed, and the early access of it was released in May of 2021. This was exciting because Fortnite was moving to this engine fast, and it was fully implemented into Fortnite by December of 2021. May to December. That's how long it took for Fortnite to completely implement Unreal Engine 5. This news matters to Rocket League users because we thought that it was possible they would do the same for Rocket League and that it could open up so many possibilities for the game's future. Maybe even a Rocket League 2 with a creative mode and more, and then finally it happened. Finally, there was a leak, and in August of 2021, someone found a job listing for Psyonix that read, projects including Rocket League, Sideswipe, and Rocket League's move to Unreal Engine 5. The community was buzzing about this, and finally Devin, the Psyonix community manager, posted on Reddit and confirmed that Rocket League was moving to Unreal Engine 5, and it was a long-term project for them, but they would share more in the future. Soon after that, Fortnite moved, so we thought, Rocket League has gotta be next, right? Epic focused on Fortnite, and now we're next. Devin made that post on August 19th, 2021. It's December 2023, and yeah, that was the last thing we ever heard about Unreal Engine 5. The hope has kept us going, but recently things have gotten worse and worse, and it's hard to keep going. Not only are they not updating the game with anything except new items and reskinning maps, but now they are rewarding us by taking things out of the game. They must have felt that the game had too much going for it. So their first big announcement after several years, they announced that they are removing player-to-player trading, December 5th, 2023. This was a core part of the community, and they're just going to shut it down overnight. A part of the game that has made careers for content creators and given purpose to a huge part of the player base with no explanation, gone. A few days later, after, the community was outraged. Creators fearing the worst. We all were just hoping for some answers at least. Something that led us to believe that this had a bigger meaning behind it. And then we finally got it, a new announcement. The announcement let us know that we will be able... can't even get this out. I can't. The announcement let us know. Hold on, I got. Okay, dude. So the first announcement that we got right after they told us they're removing player-to-player trading is they let us know, dude, that we can purchase the new NFL pack for 2023. Yes, dude. Yes. Awesome. Great. All we wanted was a reason as to why they would do this. If they would let us know that it had something to do with Unreal Engine 5 and explained, we would have been at least a little bit more understanding. But we have had nothing to go off of for years. And this is the first big announcement we get. After several weeks, now some creators have figured out this has something to do with a new game mode for Rocket League. Oh, we're looking up a new game mode for Rocket League. There was talks about a Rocket League racing mode in the past, but we don't really get our hopes up anymore because things don't usually work out the way we think. And creators found out that it was possible that the new mode was not even going to be in Rocket League, but instead it would be in Fortnite. And they removed item trading because they want to cross the items into Fortnite. And they couldn't because Fortnite doesn't have trading. So we lost a core part of our game so Fortnite could use our stuff. After more and more leaks and posts, we have concluded that that was the reasoning for us losing player-to-player trading. And we do know that Rocket Racing is indeed going to be in Fortnite because it came out December 8th. To put the icing on the cake, the new season just came out and they didn't announce it until the day before. Now, typically, Rocket League announces all of their seasons 2, maybe even 3 weeks before we know what our season rewards are going to be from our competitive ranks that previous season, and all that is done ahead of time, and there's announcements and all this stuff, and we got nothing. Complete radio silence. And then we get another update, but it's not about season 13 coming out. It's not the new season, but it is an update. They let us know about a lot of big changes. They're changing the UI to look different and taking a game mode out and rotating it every other season. Yes, the UI is just moving things around. I guess it wasn't mobile looking enough, and they are taking snow days / drop shot out of the game and just rotating them in and out season by season. Awesome. Thanks, Rocket League. I always wanted less to do in your game. This leads us to the whole point of this video. Season 13 did finally drop on December 6th. They announced it December 5th, and they didn't even give us pictures or videos of the rewards. There's something going on over there at Psyonix. It's not good because they're usually on top of that stuff. We didn't even know what our rewards were going to look like until the season released. It really feels like Rocket League has been put on the back burner, and they're just doing the bare minimum with Rocket League. I have a theory, and this is my thoughts as to why Rocket League is now on the back burner, and this new game mode that just came out on December 8th called Rocket Racing in Fortnite is now their main priority. I think they've been prioritizing this game mode for the last maybe year. That's why we've received hardly any updates in Rocket League. And I think they're slowly but surely going to turn Rocket League into something that can go along with Rocket Racing. Rocket Racing released December 8th, and it has been a fun game. I'm not going to act like it completely sucks, but I will say that it's not Rocket League. The mechanics in Rocket Racing, they're not Rocket League. It doesn't make any sense. You can push a button and it'll air roll your car and flip it upwards at the same time. You don't have to like jump and air roll and use boost and manipulate your car like we do in Rocket League. It's just like a button will do it for you. And there's a little bit of drifting, but the drifting mechanic works completely different. Everything mechanics-wise is completely different. So they have not ported Rocket League into Fortnite, and we just now have racing tracks. They completely made a new game, but it's just a game mode. It's completely just a game mode in Fortnite. And here's one way I know that it's just a game mode, because everybody who isn't Rocket League players sees it as that. It's not a new game. It's a game mode. Here's a great example. Tim the Tatman plays Fortnite on a regular basis, and he played Fortnite back in its heyday. And here's what he thought about Rocket Racing.
What we got for you here is a brand new mode that came out in Fortnite today that is called Rocket Racing. I talk about what I think about it in this video. I'm curious to see what y'all think about this new mode that Fortnite added that is essentially Rocket League racing in Fortnite. Does this mean Rocket League's done?
I believe we're watching what is the slow process of porting the entire entire game of Rocket League into Fortnite. They will slowly take away game modes and the ability to do different things that they couldn't do inside of Fortnite until they land on what will essentially have to stay. They will then announce that Steam players will have to move to Epic Games and be primarily on Epic Games. And once they get rid of Steam and they get rid of all these core things that Rocket League is unique to, then they'll finally announce that, hey, we're moving to Unreal Engine 5, and then finally drop the bomb. When Rocket League is ported to Unreal Engine 5, it will be accessed in Fortnite as a separate game mode. As a separate Fortnite mode. Rocket League will be deduced down to a mini game within Fortnite. Think about it. Psyonix is just fulfilling their destiny. They're coming full circle. Think about everything we talked about in the beginning. They got their first big break developing a game mode for Epic Games' big game at the time, Unreal Tournament. And here we are 24 years later, and they are about to make Psyonix's life work a simple game mode, just like old times. Believe me, I pray that I'm wrong, but the more I have thought about it, the more I can't stop believing it. I have sunk 2,000 hours into this Fortnite minigame without knowing it. And more proof on it is in the trailer that shows Rocket Racing coming to Fortnite. You see different things within the trailer like Among Us and NBA 2K and Gears of War. There's all these games that Epic Games is acquiring, and they are going to turn it into one giant universe under the Fortnite name. But it makes sense. Why rotate game modes all of a sudden? Oh, well, if they don't port well, just scrap them. No one will notice because they're not playing them as much. Why get rid of trading? Well, they don't have that in Fortnite, so we need to get rid of it now so people aren't asking where it went when we move everything. Next, we'll be removing maps that aren't the standard maps, so it's easy for them to port over. And before you know it, the game is as bare bones as they can make it, and then they move it over to Fortnite. I feel as though Epic Games has been gearing us towards this for a little while, changing the game slowly here and there so that it'll be the easiest thing to port over to Fortnite, and then will become just a game mode within Fortnite. It'll inflate Fortnite's views anytime a Rocket League player wants to get on and play Rocket League, and so on and so forth. There's so many reasons why they'd want it in Fortnite. The monetization that they can get with it being in Fortnite and how they can charge so much higher prices, because now you're getting all the Fortnite people trying out Rocket League, and all the Rocket League players with the cool cars makes them just want to buy all those items. The sad reality is that we just want to see the game do well, and we're all worried for its future. I hope this isn't true, but only time will tell. What's up, guys? So this is me from the future, and I was editing the video and just finishing it up, and I just realized that it seemed as though my mood had gotten a little bit further down as I went on with the video. I was feeling extremely passionate about what I was talking about. It was making me feel down in the sense of talking about Rocket League and it potentially either failing or moving to something different that might be the downfall of Rocket League. But I wanted to end on a positive note here. Although I do believe that this may end up being a game mode within Fortnite, after I've had some time to reflect on it and think about it, I do believe that it's possible that moving into Fortnite as a big universe could also be a good thing. It also very well may negatively affect Rocket League. So it's just something that we can think about either way on the spectrum. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It just means that it's a thing that is probably going to happen, and it is going to be a game mode within Fortnite. But does that mean that Rocket League is ending? No. I just think that it is going to change dramatically, and we might lose a lot of content before we gain content. So just a side thought on all of it. I am hoping for the absolute best for Rocket League in the future. I hope that if we end up moving to Fortnite, then it is going to be a good thing at the end of the day. It might be to completely monetize everything for Fortnite, and that is Epic Games' complete intention. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did make it to the end of the video, please leave me a comment letting me know. I would rather just get a comment from you, hearing your opinion. If there's something I can improve upon, let me know. Otherwise, thanks so much for making it to the end of this video. I hope that it was informative, and if you have any suggestions for future documentaries on other video games, Rocket League will not be the only thing that I cover. It just is the first thing I'm covering because I am relatively passionate about the game. Thanks guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, dudes.